This is a web tutorial to go over the new lesson plan template for Teal 202 Foundations of Education for Teach-In 1 and Teach-In 2. You can notice at the top of the lesson plan there is a name line and a date line. Please fill out that information. The next component of the lesson plan is entitled Goal. This goal is a general statement of what grade level you are addressing with your lesson plan and what broad area you are wanting to teach them. So the wording to increase knowledge of for students will all be left in the goal. The only components that you have to replace are what and the grade level. For example, to increase knowledge of reading informative text for third grade students might be your goal, or to increase knowledge of comprehension skills for second grade students. The next component of your lesson plan is the Common Core Standard, which can be ELA, which stands for English Language Arts, or a Math Common Core Standards. As of now, those are the only two areas of Common Core Standards. If you are wanting to teach a core content area in the upper grades in science, social studies, or any other technical topic, you can incorporate the English Language Arts standards for those, as those are addressed in the Common Core. And those will be gone over by your classroom instructor. So you will choose a grade level standard. Whatever grade level you chose up here, you will look for that grade level standard in the area you would like to teach under ksde.org, which will be reviewed in class, and you will just copy and paste the grade level standard for that area or that content right in this box. This is what will be used to drive your lesson plan ideas and instructions based on those standards. The next component is the ABCD content objective. Again, the ABCD, which stands for audience, behavior, conditions, and degree of measurement, will be gone over by your classroom instructor as to how to write that type of objective. An objective is based on the standard, and it is broken down into a smaller, more narrow area that you would like to focus on for your lesson, something that is measurable, such as if you're teaching comprehension, that students will answer 2 out of 3 comprehension questions correctly. You want a specific criteria that you are going to measure to know that you have met your goal of teaching that area or that standard. The next component in your lesson plan is titled Materials. What resources and instructional materials will you use to generate interest and engagement in your lesson? And this can be a bulleted list of any items that you're going to bring in to engage your audience. We talked about how to address different modalities of learning: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. What are the types of things, objects, recordings that you're going to bring in to inspire interest in your lesson and also to meet those different types of learners? And again, your instructors within your class will talk to you about some of those items. The next area of the lesson plan is procedures. This is the meat of your lesson plan. This is where you're going to tell us how you are going to meet your measurable objective. What are you going to teach and how are you going to teach it step by step? And we would like for you to include these 3 components. Number 1, you will type over here and then tell us, how are you going to draw prior knowledge? How are you going to help your students to think about the vocabulary, the background experiences that they have had in this area that you're trying to teach? It can be vocabulary generating activities such as a graphic organizer or a word web. Maybe you'll bring in some items that will visually show them what you're going to be talking about and spark some memory and background experiences for them. Asking a few questions about, have you ever been, or what have you learned in this area? Or have you ever read a story about? Something to help them think about the topic that you're going to address. Number 2 will be their actual steps in instruction. What are you going to do step by step to teach the lesson? First I will hand out flashcards. Next, I will pair them up and have them review the flashcards. Next, I will have them write the term and the definition on a whiteboard. These are just general ideas of things that you can do should you be teaching something that has to do with vocabulary in a content area. And then number 3 will be closure. What types of things are you going to do? Questions you're going to ask, possibly, or a review activity such as a game format. What are you going to do to ensure that your students reach closure in this activity? And maybe an informal verbal assessment, a couple of questions you might be asking as the students so that you know that they have learned what you have set out to teach them. The last portion of the lesson plan is labeled adaptations. This is where you're going to address what will you do if you have students who master the concepts earlier than expected. What kinds of extra enrichment activities will you give them based on your objective, or for those students who may need to be retaught, some type of reteaching method that you might do for students who did not understand what you were trying to teach the first time. So in review, this lesson plan template is for Teach in 1 and Teach in 2, Foundations of Education. You will write your goal, find a Common Core standard to go along with the area of your goal, write a measurable objective based on the standard that you chose, choose materials that will engage your learners, design your lesson and include these 3 components in your lesson description in this box. And finally, what adaptations will you use for your audience that needs enrichment or needs reteaching? This has been a webcast over Lesson Plan Template for TL 202 Foundations of Education.